Good evening and a warm welcome to you. This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Ruth Aguela. Let's begin with the transportation sector. Inspection of the Lagos-Ibadan standard gauge rail project by Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, and his transportation counterpart is underway. We have this update on the inspection sent in by Anthony Forson. Let's see it.
The inspection began at the Abuja axis, where the ministers and railway officials took time to assess the yet-to-be-completed mega station, the biggest of the 9 passenger stations on this Lagos-Ibadan route, with a capacity to hold 6,000 passengers per hour. From there, the 2 ministers were joined by the MD, Nigerian Port Authority, Hadiza Bala Usman, to inspect the upper end of the rail track, which has been added to the project as an extension to help ease movement of cargo from Apapa Port, as well as the perennial gridlock associated with the port, which has remained motorist nightmare. Director, Rail Transport Services, Mohammed Babakobi, explained that the project has suffered some slowdown.
The project is supposed to have finished, but because of the outbreak of the pandemic, we've had to do extension of time. So rather than ending it in May, June, we are now looking at maybe December or early in the year, next year, to finish this project. The pandemic has really slowed us down because we have to reduce the number of workers to control them, to accommodate them for workspace distance. The numbers of workers reduced almost by 70–80%.
He explained that the Lagos-Ibadan train has the capacity to move 10 million tons of cargo from the Apapa port and will increase as the route extends with the Kaduna and Kano lines. In Ibadan, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And to the fight against drug abuse, meaningful youth engagement has been identified as a panacea for improving young people's health and well-being. Obiageli Ugoke reports that this is part of the recommendations of experts at a forum on the fight against drug abuse among the youths held in Abuja.
The youthful age is often considered important and most crucial stage of one's entire life, capable of making or marring the future. Worried by the increasing rate of drug abuse among youth, which constantly leads to inability to fulfill purpose in life, the Committee on Narcotic Drugs, NDLEA, NAPTIP, and NOA, in conjunction with civil society organizations, is advocating a drug-free youth to guarantee a positive impact on the society.
Drug has a connection to so many kinds of vices. That is why we have to run away from it. Most people that rape, many of them are under the influence of drugs.
We try always to advise the youth that they must have to sit down, think about their tomorrow, and decide on what they want to be in life. When you don't plan your life, you have already planned to fail.
They stress the need for proper engagement of the youth as a way of preparing them for future leadership.
The NDLEA are doing its best to sensitize, to enlighten people, to tell them they have these facilities. The government is providing this facility for them to change for better.
I will employ them. I will just employ them to know that they are the future we are looking onto. They should try to be good.
An ovation and recognition for individuals who have impacted the lives of youth positively followed. Obiageli Ugoke, NTA News.
Look at the NSIP. The National Homegrown School Feeding Program of the federal government is one many say has continued to gain momentum despite shutdown of schools, especially with a modified program tagged Take-Home Rations. In this report, we examine the gains for beneficiaries in the Federal Capital Territory.
It is a day just like any other for these future generations, oblivious of their present situation or a pandemic that is ravaging the world. Life goes on for these young ones, despite schools being shut down. It is a different story for Asu Idris, who has been a security guard for 16 years at the Elia Primary School in Dobi Community, a suburb of Gwagwalada Area Council in the Federal Capital Territory. Daily, he comes to survey the premises ever since schools were shut down. He says life has not been the same catering for his 6 children since the outbreak of the pandemic. He is very hopeful of better days ahead, as light of hope once shone on him and his family during the lockdown, when his family benefited from the take-home rations distributed by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development to ease hardships.
That time, no one was going out. Me and my family were suffering for the food. As they brought the food, then we start enjoying the food. Truly, we use it for a good 1 week.
The story is similar for Deborah Davis and her family, who were also beneficiaries of the take-home rations.
When they bring the palliative for us, we really enjoy it. Egg, oil, tomatoes, beans, salt. The children enjoy it because I cook the things for them, the egg, everything that they gave us.
I'm appreciating them for bringing it because if they have not bring it, I could have not known what would have happened. Maybe I could have not eaten, but I thank them for bringing it.
It was really helpful because as at that time I didn't have much food in the house, but when they came, they brought in food. My children ate from there, so they enjoyed themselves that period.
That very day they gave us that palliative. We don't have anything to cook for them, so we are very happy as we have the palliative.
The beneficiaries are part of the 29,609 households that were impacted in the FCT, with the take-home rations valued at 4,200 naira per household. A development many believe speaks volume, and for the little ones, they may be left out from learning in the meantime, but not left out of being fed by the federal government. In Abuja.
And in Ogun State, the fourth phase of distribution of raw food items to pupils of public primary schools under the homegrown school feeding program of the federal government has been concluded, with many households in Ogun State as beneficiaries. Lukman Adefeso reports that about 290 distribution centers were set up across the state to reach out to 60,391 beneficiaries targeted in the first phase of the special intervention. Here's the report.
National School Feeding Program is a 70 naira per day meal for public primary school pupils across the country. It uses locally grown farm produce by smallholder farmers to provide children with nutritious midday meals on every school day. In Ogun State, several pupils have benefited. The program, which links local farmers to the education sector by facilitating their access to the school feeding market, has also empowered many.
I keep some money the time we are doing the work. And I use the money to start small business. And I use the money for my family, for their school fees. So the money I benefit from the program very well.
This program has helped me a lot because before I don't have a job now that they have employed me to the program.
At the peak of the coronavirus pandemic, when all schools were shut, the federal government adopted the strategy of distributing raw food stuff such as 5 kilograms bag of rice, 5 kilograms bag of beans, 500 ml vegetable oil, 750 ml palm oil, 500 milligrams salt, 15 pieces of eggs, and 140 grams of tomato paste to each household. And these were taken to the doorstep of the pupils on presentation of validated vouchers by parents for collection on behalf of their children.
I receive rice, beans, egg, groundnut oil, palm oil, salt, and beans.
Ẹ̀wà, ẹyin, àti òróró, Maggi.
But tí mo fẹ́ sọ fún ìjọba pé nǹkan tán ní kan fún àwọn ọmọ wọn fún wọn. Wọ́n dẹ̀ lọ gbà. Wọ́n fún wọn ní ìwé pélébé pé kán wá gbà. Wọ́n dẹ̀ kọ orúkọ sílẹ̀ pé kán wá gbà ní Lantoras kán dẹ̀ lọ community.
This program was launched and flagged off by the Special Assistant to the President on National Homegrown School Feeding Program, Titilola Adeyemi Doro, on behalf of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development.
The social shocks of recent global crises, especially the COVID-19, have led to enhanced modified social protection mechanism, including school feeding programs in low-income countries. They can serve as a safety net for food security for food insecure households.
We have 290 distribution centers. We place it by ward, but we have 230 wards, but there are some wards that are so big so that they will have two distribution centers. In all, we have 290 distribution centers. We have 180,000 people that we are feeding. So the federal government is focusing on 1/3, which is 60,391.
The second phase of the program will soon commence in Ogun State.
A look at other issues. The investigative panel set up by the Nigerian Army to verify the alleged involvement of troops of 19th Brigade in farming and fishing activities at Baga Town in Kukawa local government area of Borno State says the claim still remains untrue. Well, the panel, headed by the Deputy Theatre Commander, Operation Lafia Dole, Major General Felix Omuigu, made these findings known at the Military Command and Control Center in Maiduguri. Jadwa John Jassani report.
By the allegations leveled against the troops.
The Deputy Theatre Commander, Major General Felix Omugui, told journalists that the findings revealed that Baga Town in Kukawa local government area of Borno State, which has had its fair share of the Boko Haram insurgency since 2013, is yet to return to its original self, as presence of civilians keeps fluctuating in the area from time to time. He went on that the allegations levied against troops of 19th Brigade Baga remains falsehood, as there are no evidence of farming, cattle rearing or fishing activities in the area.
The entire area of Baga is too heavily mined with improvised explosive devices to have allowed for any farming activities.
He also cleared the air on the trailer misconceived to be loaded with fish in Baga Town.
Some of the trucks seen in Baga Town were observed to be loaded with scrapped metals. Troops of Operation Lafia Dole will remain committed and undeterred in the fight against terrorism.
The Nigerian Army says efforts are still in place to clear and make displaced communities safe and secured for the return of civilians. In Maiduguri, Jadwa John Jassani, NTA News.
And still on security matters, the Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission has urged citizens to join hands with security agencies to overcome the challenges of insecurity, especially in the northern part of the country. Omenka Marachuku reports that the advice came from the Executive Secretary of the Commission, Reverend Yakubu Pam, who was at the internally displaced persons camp in Zonkwa to empathize with the victims of the attack in southern Kaduna.
The recent attack on residents of southern Kaduna forced these people out of their ancestral homes to pitch a tent in this camp, which for now is a home for them. This is obviously not the best time for them, having lost their loved ones and grappling with the fear of the unknown amidst the trauma. Gambo Waziri, for now, is their mouthpiece.
We actually look for this place to host them, to keep them, so we'll be able to take care of them in the situation they found themselves.
Without forgiveness, these people can't live in peace with each other. And the demonstration is that I'm a Christian leader. I came to a Muslim community, a Fulani community. My community in Jos Plateau State has been affected with this crisis. The relationship is very sour. But yet I come in here to let them know that we need to forgive each other.
The commission also took the message of peace to the Fulani residents in the area.
We cannot continue living in this way, killing one another. It is very unfair. It is unreligious, either Muslim or Christian. The Quran is against killing one another. The same thing, the Bible is against killing one another.
Traditional rulers in the areas were quick to embrace the peace and reconciliation initiative by the commission.
So we are pulling them for a summit here very soon, so that we can discuss ways and means of, one, relieving the tension in the land.
Our prayer is that the good Lord will protect us from now on, that this kind kind of incidents do not occur again.
From the sound of their voices and body language, the people are hopeful that peace and sanity will return to their communities. In Sunkwa, Kaduna State, Umenka Mrachuku, NTA News.
A look at felicitation. President Muhammadu Buhari has sent warm wishes to Kingsley Osadolo, a journalist, lawyer and administrator, on his 60th birthday. The president joined the media and the legal profession to celebrate one of the renowned television hosts and one-time commissioner whom he describes as one of the very best in his profession. President Buhari counsels Osadolo to continue using his divine endowments for the good of society and country, saying Nigeria will always find his contributions salutary and germane to national development. A statement by Presidential Media Advisor Femi Adesina wishes Osadolo, a fellow of the Nigerian Guild of Editors, good health, long life and all-round prosperity. And on behalf of the NTA family, we also wish the celebrant a happy birthday. Let's go on a break. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned.
Of corruption to ICPC on toll-free number 0800-2255-4272. This message is brought to you by ICPC and NTA.
NTA TV College Jos, an affiliate of Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, is currently admitting students for its ordinary diploma programs in television journalism, television production, and television engineering. Interested candidates are advised to obtain relevant information concerning eligibility at our website at www.ntatvc.edu.ng or marketing nationwide. For further information, contact Assistant Director Marketing NTA TV College Jos on 0803-314-4383 or the Academic Office of the College on 0806-980-9807. Announcer, Registrar.
She cries. She cries in anguish and in pain. She bears the scourge of her grief. She toils in vain for justice and succumbs to silence. He gloats over his malady. Like a beast, he pounces with no remorse. Her cry means nothing. Her pain feeds her shame. Like an orphan, she's left to grieve in solitude. But no more will she cry in vain. Her adversaries will henceforth bear the brunt of their cruelty. Rape is evil. Rape is a plague, a pandemic of monumental consequences. We must unite and kick it out of our society.
Connect with NTA and stand against rape and rapists. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
We're glad you're there. Let's head to Lagos to join Hingino. She has the next set of reports for us. Hingino?
Thank you, Ruth. At the peak of the total lockdown in some states, the federal government flagged off the modified homegrown school feeding program in Lagos. The target was the poorest of vulnerable households to sustain the provision of balanced diet to primary school pupils amidst COVID-19. Few months after, Adiola Komiakere visited some of the households to see how they are faring.
The first phase of the modified school feeding program, which took off at St. Francis Nursery in Primary School, Maryland, Ikeja, Lagos, on the 21st of May this year, was extended to thousands of pupils in public schools across the state to sustain them during the lockdown. It was a collaborative effort between federal and the state government.
We receive, for Kochove Local Government Education Authority, for instance, we receive 1,548 palliative.
Most of these people were from the same family. Like a parent will have 2 or 3 pupils from the same family. That's why it was break down to 37,589 households.
Aishat and Moshood Adekoya, Favor David, as well as Goodluck Ogaga are among those in the 37,589 households that benefited. The pupils recount the joyful moments that followed when their parents returned home with the bounty. remember when Daddy came home with a bag containing foodstuff?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell us what was inside the bag?
Yes.
Okay, tell us.
Rice, beans, palm oil, red oil, salt,
so
with egg. She told me that she brought it from my school. 5 of us ate the food.
Their parents agreed that the food palliative couldn't have come at a better time.
That very season, I did not think that government can do such things, so student, able to an individual, but with my child in that school, I benefited from the government and I was very, very happy.
The beneficiaries thanked the federal government for sustaining the homegrown school feeding initiative. In Lagos, Adeola Komiakeri, NTA News.
And away from the homegrown school feeding program, on the first day of August, fire razed 2 buildings that housed textile shops at the Mushin area of Lagos. Although no life was lost, property and businesses worth millions of naira were destroyed by the inferno. Diana Ajale, who visited the scene 2 weeks after, reports that business activities are yet to recommence.
This empty land, number 16 Ladipo Street, once housed a story building and a bungalow and was home to a thriving fabrics business. Well, that history was halted by the fire outbreak.
Since then, all of us were frustrated. There's nowhere for we to go. Plus our goods that burnt here. We are calling the owners of the house. What is the next line of action? Up to this moment, we have not gotten any result here. The local government chairman came. He saw the whole thing. Even the state government sent their own people to represent them. They came here, they saw the whole thing. But we are hoping that they will come to our aid.
Michael Ifeanyi, a textile and upholstery dealer, is one of the many business owners who are still grieving over their losses. According to him, life has been difficult while the fire has left him stranded.
You can see, that's what to do this backup. So we can say, the managing director, so that they'll be able to put this place in order.
Pledges of assistance have been made from many quarters. As the victims await the fulfillment of these promises, they continue to look inwards to enable them start from another humble beginning. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
It's now back to Ruth in Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide.
Welcome back to Abuja. Let's look at NCDC latest update on COVID-19. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control has announced 329 new cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria. A breakdown of the new cases from 21 states indicates that Lagos recorded the highest number for the day with 113 new cases, while Kaduna State has 49 new cases. FCT recorded 33 new cases, Kano 16, Edo 15, Ogun 14, Delta 13, and Oyo 8. Others are Ekiti 6, Bayelsa 6, Akwa Ibom 5, Borno 4, Enugu 4, Ebonyi 3, Rivers 2. The day's tally is completed by Bauchi, Nasarawa, Gombe, and Niger states recording 1 case each. With the latest development, total number of confirmed cases stands 998 cases have been successfully treated and discharged, while 973 patients died, unfortunately. Right, well, we know the rains are here and it brings a much needed break from the scorching heat. However, while the refreshing rain is welcomed with open arms, it also brings with it a host of potential health problems. Staying healthy requires some extra cautions during the rainy season. And joining me live now via telephone for enlightenment on how to cope with some ailments associated with rainy season is Professor MacDonald Idu. He's a professor of fetal medicine, University of Benin. Thank you very much, Prof, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, now.
Good afternoon, good evening, yes.
Yeah, good evening. Let's begin this way. What are some of the common ailments associated with the rainy season?
All right, just as you introduced, the the common ailments are so many, but we can tame them down to the following. And I'll just give a little background on each of them, and perhaps let us know some of the symptoms we can use to identify them. And if we still have time, I'll give some home remedies that can be used to treat these common diseases.
Okay, go ahead with the symptoms. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, the first one, and perhaps the very common one, is malaria. Usually caused by the female Anopheles mosquito, and it breeds in a waterlogged area. So it will be necessary for us to clean our environment, the tanks around us, and often tires that are laid down with the water and all those stuff need to be put away. Now, common symptoms of malaria usually are fevers, and muscle pains and weaknesses. We also have a common cold. Of course, the rains come with cold, and usually we say cold. Common cold comes along each time there's rain, or sometimes in the cool of the evening, we see this cool wind blowing and comes with its own side effects. It's estimated that over 50 million people in Nigeria, come down with common cold annually. It will be very, very it will be wise to avoid being drenched, especially when the rains are here. Assuring that we are not soaked anytime there's rain. We'll get ourselves protected, and then also we'll get ourselves free from being affected, by cold, and especially for people who are prone to allergy, for instance, bronchitis or even asthma. That could be very, very injurious to them if they are really exposed to cold, in such manner. So the third one, perhaps I want to look at is flu or influenza. It can be as a result of serious health. It can result to a very serious health condition, such as pneumonia, and cause such serious complications, in our health. One of the most threatening features of influenza is that it develops into pneumonia, and that will really cause very strong complications, if not properly treated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Prof, we're in an era of a pandemic, but as a professor of fetal medicine, what would you advise people to do in order to prevent some of these ailments you're mentioning, and also cope, that's for those who already have such ailments?
Yeah, if you look through all the, let me just highlight them, and I'll go to that. I'll answer your question directly.
But briefly, because we don't have much time, you have to summarize.
Yes.
Okay.
We have cholera, we have diarrhea, and all these typhoid, especially within this period. Now, all have interwoven symptoms, which is clean environment, water, and all manner of hygiene and good nutrition. For my own word on this, we need to eat well. We need to improve our immune system. Protection against mosquito, for instance, we need to get our environment well cleaned up, and we need to take some plants, that aid to increase our immune system, like papaya, which is your pawpaw, and neem leaves, which are very, very good in taking care of, especially the dengue fever, and also boosts our platelets count in the body. And for flu and cold, it's very important that we also beef up our immune system using turmeric, milk, and lemongrass, which is very, 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 very good for helping our body system.
Okay.
And of course, for cholera, I would advise that we take the ginger. The ginger is very good for the control of cholera. It's a natural antibiotics, and it has been noted, for curing cholera. issues that have been highlighted.
Okay, Prof, lastly, just before I let you go, from what you're saying, is it okay to ascertain that, or rather, are there peculiarities with the season due to the COVID-19 we're already dealing with?
Yes, of course. If you look at it, most of the symptoms you get are, cold, cough, sneezing, and all that. Those are just the same package that comes with the pandemic, currently. So most times for corona, symptoms. So it will be advisable, for instance, that once you are having these complications, you just go see the doctor and get yourself tested, because you might be treating the simple malaria, whereas you are having a COVID. The virus is having a field in your body. Yeah. So we should be very careful, and we should also take not take a risk by just saying that we'll take the normal malaria medicine and just sit at home. We could go for a test, and then we'll find ourselves well tested and well treated for the environment.
All right. Thank you very much, Professor MacDonald Edu. Of course, we should also consider the children, right? Thank you very much for your contribution.
Yes, of course.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay. He's a professor of fetal medicine. And let's head to Port Harcourt now. Jenny will bring us our next set of reports. Jenny?
Ruth, good evening and welcome to Port Harcourt. Rivers State Government and Julius Berger have signed contractual agreement for the 5th flyover bridge project situated at GRA Junction in Port Harcourt. We're getting here reports that the agreement was signed at Government House, Port Harcourt.
In the last 6 years, Governor Nyesom Wike has placed premium on the development of Rivers State, especially in the area of road infrastructure. The last 10 months had witnessed increased tempo in that direction, with the signing of the contract for the construction of 3 flyovers simultaneously with Julius Berger at strategic places within Port Harcourt metropolis. This time, the state government has signed another contract for the construction of the flyover at GRA Junction, alongside other adjoining roads valued at 15.8 billion naira with the same company.
Contract award about 15.8 billion naira, and we are going to pay just better 70% off. Not just only the flyover, we are dualizing a Zimbu Road to Stadium Road. Then we are dualizing for Genesis to Ikwere Road.
Today we are here to continue the story of success in River State. We are celebrating another remarkable milestone.
Governor Wike later embarked on project tour, where he inspected the ongoing construction of the Rebisi flyover, the expansion work on the Rumola flyover, and the Mpogo land reclamation projects. In Port Harcourt, Ogedinyikwere, NTA News.
The need to deepen peace in Niger Delta region towards meaningful development was a major thrust of a gathering by concerned development partners operating in the region. This time, search for common grounds, and the German corporation are spearheading this new initiative. Dibabari Sedio Manwike reports.
It is one in the series of meetings to strengthen peace building, peaceful coexistence and development of not only the Niger Delta region, but Nigeria at large. Stakeholders from all walks of life, drawn from the media, the legislature, civil society organization, and security agency, attended the forum. Facilitators are the core officers of the Search for Common Ground, supported by German Corporation.
To increase the voices of the men, women and youth and persons with disabilities in issues of peace and non-violence.
Goodwill messages from the participants was a consensus on the readiness to support the initiative to strengthen peace and development in the region.
Peace is very important to all of us, and we as a government we take it very seriously.
That the Nigerian Television Authority has a mandate to keep this nation as one indivisible entity. And it's when there is peace that there will be development.
If we take it from the common ground approach and respect each other's or one another and our right to existence, our right to livelihood, some of these issues will be resolved.
The technical session hinged on testing strategies for sustainable peace and development. Tibabari Siedmaweke, NTA News.
The outbreak of COVID-19 has brought with it the new normal of wearing the nose mask and face shields, especially in public places, to prevent the spread of the disease. This development has no doubt made these face coverings a must-have by all, as its production and sale have become a money-spinning venture. In this report, Justin Item takes a look at economic benefits and production of nose masks and face shields.
The nose mask and face shields are protective equipment designed to give the wearer maximum protection from contact with infected droplets, thereby preventing the spread of COVID-19. The current situation occasioned by spikes in COVID-19 cases has made these accessories more valuable, as it is now a common sight to see people wearing them in public places.
It is important that every cross-riverian to put a nose mask so that you can protect others and also protect yourself.
It has empowered the jobless.
It's helping people keep their hands busy and keeping them away from crime.
As the COVID-19 pandemic continues to take its toll on global economies with devastating effects on small and medium-scale enterprises, business-minded persons have diverted to the production and sale of the nose mask and face shields. Apart from putting food on the table of many, the venture
another very big opening in the economic world, in the financial world. It's a huge opening.
It now behoves on all and sundry to gain great economic value from the situation as they continue to protect themselves from the virus. In Calabar, Justina Etam, NTA News.
And that's it from Port Harcourt. Ruth is back to you in Abuja.
Thanks, Jenny. The Federal Character Commission has reaffirmed its determination to ensure equitable distribution of posts, infrastructure, employment opportunities. This during his visit to the governor of Benue State, Governor Tom in Makurdi. Let's hear from Charles Abba.
Federal Character Commissioner representing Benue, Silas Machipa, who commended Governor Samuel Ortom for maintenance of peace and security, stated that guidelines and formulae for ensuring equitable distribution of positions in public service, socio-economic amenities and infrastructural facilities among the three tiers of government have been drawn and awaiting approval by the National Assembly.
A survey of infrastructural facilities at the federal level to determine the level of compliance with the federal character principle is ongoing.
Governor Samuel Ortom, who congratulated Mr. Machipa on his appointment, lamented the marginalization of Benue State in appointments and distributions of projects by the federal government.
The federal government agencies in Benue State are seen as integral part of the state. We must work together at all times. If there's anything that this government can do to make your office comfortable in order to deliver on your mandate in the state, I want to assure you that within our capacity, we will definitely do that.
The governor, however, stated that Benue State would continue to cooperate with the federal government with a view to getting its fair share of the available resources. In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
The FCT Emergency Management Agency says it will continue to strategize in its bid to prevent the occurrence of disasters in any part of the territory. Deputy Director of Forecast, Response and Mitigation, Florence Wenegeme, gave this assurance at the agency's second annual review and preparedness meeting with drivers, vanguards and flood rescue teams. Let's hear from Ilyasu Onotu Yakubu.
Fwankat Isa Linus is amongst first responders by act of volunteerism in any disaster and emergency situation in the Federal Capital Territory. Right now, flood is ravaging the earth, the Federal Capital Territory inclusive, and in their usual pledge, Fwankat and these tens of humanitarian servants have not failed whenever the need arises. But their services is one which comes with emerging techniques for rescue and safety, and that is what the coordinating agency has brought them here for, to evaluate and impact them with latest emergency response protocols.
Awareness to make people to learn and expand the information to different people that they don't know what is happening.
People are dying, we are losing properties due to what's happening. If nobody is going to take responsibilities to continue like that, so we have to stand up and then help ourselves. If the persons are not related to us, one day it will happen to people related to us. So we should at least stand up and do something about it.
To avoid building from rivers, all these things, the thing where they affect the community, placing a byline inside the rivers, all these things. To another thing where they tell us to advise people, to encourage them.
The season's August break is here, and so it provides the best platform for FEMA to re-strategize and re-echo in the minds of the volunteers the predictions by NIMET and hydrological services. The rains will be heavier come September and October. Therefore, these people will be taking responsibilities to drive awareness campaigns in their localities and also be at alert for what is to come.
Recall we told you earlier on that our response time is 5 minutes. It's now 3 minutes because they have been very active. And by calling them to this annual review meeting is to remind them, to make them be alert, to respond timely.
FEMA says its priority, first of all, is to prevent disasters from happening, and that it will continue to advocate such across the nation's capital. Iliasu Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
Let's find out what's happening in Sokoto as we join Musa to guide us there. Musa.
Hello, Ruth. Stakeholders in Sokoto are brainstorming on flood preparedness and mitigation against COVID-19 pandemic. This is at a sensitization meeting organized by National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, in response to Nigerian Meteorological Agency's prediction. Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila has more.
Part of our rules, or I can say some of our rules, let me just pick the salient ones. That is rescue, recover and relief. Then evacuation, setting up of camps of affected persons. Then if they need the medical support, we take preventive measures, and if it happens, we will know how to control it. So when the people becomes there, they will try to avoid further catastrophe.
These are some of the participants of critical stakeholders meeting on disaster management and community sensitization on flood preparedness. The participants assured to extend the knowledge acquired during the meeting to their immediate communities and locations to avert the possible dangers associated with flooding, saying that their role is enormous in disaster management. The presence of community leaders and experts on flooding and disaster management signifies the effort of NEMA in embarking on massive sensitization to the people living in the flood-prone areas.
So that's why NEMA now is trying to shift from a relief agency to disaster management agency because of the paradigm shift.
The sensitization lecture came at a time when the Nigerian Meteorological Agency predicts some states and local government areas which are likely to experience flooding in the country. The sensitization lecture will be extended to the 14 predicted local government areas of the state which are likely to be affected by flood this year. In Sokoto, Abraham Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
Schools in Sokoto have joined their counterparts nationwide in complying with the federal government's COVID-19 guidelines for reopening of schools. Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila, who visited some schools, reports that existing students have begun preparations for exams.
This is the new normal for secondary schools in Sokoto State that are directed to reopen for existing students to write their West African Examination Council exams.
The government has given us much attention. We have received face mask, and all of our students have received. We have shared it. I think you go around, you have seen them with it.
We used to check their temperature at the gate. We have the wash hand basin. We have sanitizers. Before you enter the school, you must have your nose mask. And also, we ensure that there's spacing in the classes.
Washing your hands if you come inside the school, and always use your face mask.
Although there is limited time to prepare students for the exams caused by the school closure to curb the COVID-19 pandemic, the schools have since begun intensive revision for the exams, which is around the corner.
Given the limited time we have, we were able to do our best. Already during the break, we were able to interact with them online using the platforms available.
We have put all mechanisms on ground, putting in our best and ensuring that they are set for the exams.
The classes are ongoing for the revision and basic introduction to the key aspect of examination questions.
For some students, the COVID-19 stay-at-home break offered them opportunity to prepare more for the exams. The exams is coming on the 17th of August 2020. In Sokoto, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
Meanwhile, measures are being put in place to comply with the protocols by relevant authorities in Kebbi State. Nura Tanko Wakili takes a look at the level of preparedness of Kebbi State University of Science and Technology.
The Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Education, set out guidelines for the opening of schools to prevent contact and spread of coronavirus pandemic. The Kebbi State University of Science and Technology therefore took proactive measures in compliance with the guidelines with a view to ensuring safety and protection against the disease in the university community. These include fumigation of the entire university environment, provision of hand-washing points and sanitizers, face masks, and sitting arrangements to comply with the COVID-19 protocol of social distancing. This university has strived very hard to make sure that we met all the conditions that have been set out. To achieve that, we set up a task force or committee that is responsible for that. The university is also credited to have fabricated a ventilator and engaged in research works that will facilitate the fight against the deadly virus.
We have created an avenue where students can take lectures in their rooms, and then we deliver from the class so that you can obtain your lectures through virtual means.
This, the university said, will be sustained to contain the spread of the virus in the university, the state, and the entire nation. The National Universities Commission is currently engaging the management of the country's universities to assess their level of preparedness for possible reopening of the nation's universities after closure as a result of coronavirus pandemic. Nura Tanko Wakili, NTA News.
It's time to pause for some messages. Nationwide continues with Larry in Ibadan.
Follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online, www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
You're still watching Nationwide, and welcome to Ibadan. The Nigerian Customs Service, or Osun Command, has handed over 1,040 bags of compressed seized cannabis sativa to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency in Ibadan. Correspondent Shola Wahid has details.
Items seized are 101 sacks and 1,047 compressed cannabis sativa. The Custom Area Controller Oyo Osun Command, Ngozi Uche, said the illicit drug was seized at different locations during patrol of officers of the command. While signing the handover documents of the drugs to NDLEA officials, she assured that the Customs Service will continue to collaborate with sister agencies towards ensuring that the country is safe from criminal activities.
To hand over the said sacks of cannabis sativa to you, NDLEA, then you're doing in your jurisdiction, doing what we're supposed to do.
We appreciate the Nigeria Customs Service of Oyo Osun Area Command, and to me, with the short time that I got to know you, you are a man, not a woman.
Controller Ngozi also led some officers of the command to the palaces of Olubadan of Ibadan land, the Alaafin of Oyo, and the Soun of Ogumosho to seek the blessings and support of the royal fathers towards the smooth running of operations of the command in the state. In Ibadan, Shola Wahid, NTA News.
After 5 months of closure due to COVID-19 restriction protocol, Ijebu-Ode Central Mosque reopened for congregational prayer in strict compliance with safety guidelines by Ogun State government. Correspondent Joel Bokwola reports that the Jumat service was an opportunity for Muslims to pray for an end to the pandemic.
The faithfuls who were enthusiastic about accessing the mosque after 5 months of closure were thoroughly screened at the gate in line with stipulated guidelines of the government. Thus, the management of the mosque religiously implemented the no face mask, no entry policy, compulsory temperature check, and washing while faithfuls brought their mat from home. For now, ablution is not allowed in the mosque. The chief imam of Ijebu land, Alhaji Muftawa Yobadejo, in his Udba says the existence of coronavirus is an attestation to the supremacy of Allah over mankind. He urged Muslims to put the fear of Allah in the front burner at all times for him to show mercy to mankind. The chief imam thereafter led the first congregational prayer after 5 months of closure. The cleric enjoined the faithfuls to continue in prayers and supplications to Allah.
Last came here on the 13th of March. Thank God. May we have the blessings of Allah. Our people are religious people. They were all eager to come to the mosque.
Some Muslims describe the reopening as an opportunity for spiritual rebirth.
The first time we're having a major congregation prayers. As a Muslim, I'm happy.
We have educated our worshippers.
Only the central mosque are allowed to open for Jumat service. In Ijebu-Ode, Joel Bokwola, NTA News.
I'll be handing over to Ruth in Abuja for continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you very much, Larry. Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State has challenged security agencies in the state to brace and flush out all criminal elements in Bauchi State. Now, this came in the wake of the recent killing of Musa Mante, the member representing Das constituency in Bauchi State House of Assembly. Mahmoud Ibn Mohammed reports.
Jamilu is one of the 20 children left behind by late Musa Mante, the member representing Das constituency in Bauchi State House of Assembly. He said the gunmen stormed their house in Baraza village of Das local government at about 1 a.m. Friday morning, killing their father in cold blood and abducted his mother, her co-wife and his younger sister in what he described as a waking nightmare. While on a condolence visit to the people of Das and the family of the deceased, Governor Bala Mohammed assures that the perpetrators of the crime will be fished out.
But the damage has been done. We are always conscious and working. We are going back to the drawing board at the Security Council level. I have just spoken to the Air Force Commandant that is based here in Bauchi, that is taking care of the whole country. We will run very serious surveillance. What we need is a lot of monitoring and evaluation, and definitely we will not say it. But certainly, we must do everything possible to make sure we make our people safe and secure.
According to reports available, the mother of Musa Mante is the fourth in the series of killings by gunmen in the area in recent times. In Bauchi, Mahmoud Ibn Mohammed, NTA News.
That's Nationwide. Thank you very much for keeping us company. And Sports World resumes shortly. Badi is already seated. Badi.
Thank you very much, Ruth. All right, welcome back to Sports World. We told you that we won't be going until 6. So just stay tuned as we bring you some other interesting stories. We're going to have a guest soon who's going to be talking about squash. And of course, we'll be talking about home news, issues around Nigerian sports. Stay with us.